In this video, I will show you how to build an Excel spreadsheet to visualize and compare data from two geographical areas. So those areas can be a top area, one of two sub-areas, or one of their components. So there's three levels. The first input will be used to build a map with proportion of cells. Now the only proviso is that the area that we will define needs to be compatible with Excel map. So the second input will be used to specify what we want to compare with the main area. For instance, here I can compare Florida with the rest of the USA, but I could also compare Florida with another component that is not part of the USA. For instance, I could compare Florida with Europe. So it shows here on a different color. At the top here, we see the total sales of each area selected with a percentage of the second area vs the first one. Below, we can compare the trend of the two areas selected. This will allow us to see if the second area is lagging or is pushing things forward. Bottom here, we see the value comparison that gives a bit of context with the top chart showing the trend. Now, you could have a better trend, but if your numbers are low, then that won't impact too much the overall data. Here we go, so we can compare two main areas, for instance, or we can compare one sub-area with a total, and we can compare a component with a total area, so there's a lot of flexibility here. So that won't be a pure build from scratch this time. I think typing and explaining all those complex formulas was a bit too much of a challenge and maybe too confusing for you, so instead I will walk you through the components, and based on what I walk you through, you should be able to rebuild this. Welcome to this tutorial. So this is our starting point. We have two regions and we have a total of those two regions. So in order for the maps to work, so you might not need the map. So if you don't need the maps, you don't have to listen to that part. In order for the maps to work, what we need, let me show you everything on the screen. If we want the map to work, we need to have under one region here I take two regions. Under one region, we need to have a consistent or recognizable, if you like, group of regions that Microsoft will understand. For instance, here we have a country at the top, and under we have states. So Microsoft understands this. So if you live in another country, you would have to check if Microsoft understands that if you want the map. Another example is the name of the region is not really important here, but the group of countries that I have here for Europe, they are recognizable. So when Microsoft sees all this, they say, okay, that I get, so I can put that into a map. But if you have something else here, for instance, West Germany or something like this, it will not understand anymore because they say that this doesn't exist anymore. So this is the first step, where you should have this, a region with the 12 months, and the total. So this is just a standard table. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you should have that. And then you do the total, and then you do the overall total of these two regions. Now I have something in yellow here. This is because I want to name those fields. And once we name fields or cells, everything gets a little bit simpler. So I just gonna, if you don't know how to name this, I want to name this one. So this is the cell that will give us the name of the region. I just click on it, and then I put it on the top left here, and I call it region 1. And I press enter twice. Has to be twice, otherwise Excel thinks that you want to go somewhere. And here you put region 2, press enter twice. And here, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to call this one region 0. Okay, so you should have something along those lines. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be whatever. It could start in June if you wanted. Now, under what I would like to create is, so this is the visible part for the client. So the client, obviously you can remove the yellow. The client, whoever you present that for, they can see this. This is fine. I just have formatted it as a table. But the rest that I will be doing now, will be hidden. It's more calculation. This is very important. We want the map and the charts to be very easy to draw. For that reason, we want to do the background with a data manipulation that will make everything easier down the track. So now I've named that field region 0. So what I want to do is I want to create subgroups. I'm going to call this, you'll understand when you see what I'm doing now. You have belong to, and here that will be the region that I want to put the region in a broader term. This is where I can put region area. So if we start with this one, for instance, here I want region 0. What does that belong to? Nothing, so I leave blank. So here I will put region 1. What does that belong to? That belongs to region 0. This is fun. This is like being back at school. So region 2, what does that belong to? Oh, I forgot to put the region 2. Now if I do it 3 times, I have to stop the recording. And this belongs to region 0, which is above. So we have subgroups here. And then we keep going. Now, for USA, I'm going to start with USA. I'm just going to go to the first zone here, and I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to drag that for 10. So I have a maximum of 10 here. I need to drag that for 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and bingo. I'll get rid of the 0 later on. And here I want to do the second region, the detail this time, and I'll go from France for 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the zeros are actually helping at this stage. So Florida. So this is dynamic. So here I'm just doing it. This entity belongs to region 1. So here I'm just going to put region 1. All this will be region 1. And then you can change. You can put Canada or whatever, and that will work because you are referring back to those named field here. So all those belong to the region 1, and all those will belong to region 2. Region 2 here. And you'll see that grid will make things so much easier down the track. Okay, so now what we want to do, and once again, this is just once, you just do it once. I just want to replicate the mumps. So the mumps, let's assume this one will be the driver. So I'm just going to take this mump here, and drag it across. So now I want to bring back all the numbers for all these areas here. It won't take long. So the first one is origin. So you just do it once. And actually, I'm just going to do the January, and after I'll drag everything across. USA, the total is here. Europe, the total is here. Florida, the total is here. And I will drag that down. And then we go back to Europe. I take the first one. And I'm bringing that down. Okay. Now I'm taking the world months. And I drag it all the way to December. Actually, I'm just going to grab the total too. See, that was not too hard. So let's just give a little bit of maybe formatting here. Although this is a work field, it's not something for the users to see. Just it doesn't prevent you from doing something a little bit nicer. So I'm just going to copy the format here, format painter. Put it here, a little bit on here. Okay, so this will be my working field. Now that this is done, I'm going to do yet more working fields. So, what I want to do first is I want to create another tab. Okay, I'm just going to call this one the dashboard tab. The whole idea is to select regions. So I'm just going to create 2 fields here. Just the first one will be, I'm just going to put them in a different color here. We'll worry about the overall field and color later on, but here I want to name this one input 1. So that would mean that's the first selection of the users. And this one, I want to call it input 2. Okay, so just to remind the names, input 2, input 1. So I haven't done the validation field yet, but let's say I'm going to put Spain here. Just let's actually, this is wrong example. I put Spain here. Now let's go back here. So here, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a flag that we will use later on. That we will use later on. So I just want to find out which one has been put into the input 2. Selected as input 2. Okay. So I'm just going to check if this, that doesn't make sense for regions because I will never use it, but I just want to be consistent. Equal to input 2. Then I will flag it as 1. Otherwise, I put 0. Let's see if it works. Remember, I put Spain as my second selection, and here it is. Now let us continue. So more working fields. So I just want to put just here as a reminder, input the name of the fields, input 2. So here what I want to do is I want to bring back the data for input 1 and input 2. So here, input 1, I know it's not, don't validate the fields yet, but I'm just going to put Europe here as an example. So here I will put input 1, and here I will put input 2. And here what I want to do is I want to bring back the values for input 1 and input 2. So how do we do that? If we're lucky enough to have XLOOKUP, we use XLOOKUP. So here, XLOOKUP. Let's do this. Now the lookup value that we are looking for, actually let me do this, it might be a bit clearer. The lookup value that we are looking is the Europe here. So we are looking for Europe. And I'm going to locate completely, so press F4. And where do we look at this value in this table? We are looking at in this column here. And what do we want to bring back? Well, we want to bring back for January, we want to bring back this. If not found, it's not going to happen. It should not happen. And a much more, I'm just going to put 0. So that means we want an exact match. So let's see if it works. So we have 43. So let's just format that a little bit better. Just going to format all this. So what do we have? Europe 437, Europe 437. Now this is how it should work. We need to free up the 62 here. We need to have a solid one because we always look in this one, and this needs to be able to slide. So we need to free up the column. So now that is done, I can just take the 2 of those and drag them all the way across. So now we have Europe, and as an input 1, just going to start doing the coloring. The input 1 is Europe, and the input 2 is Spain, and we've selected a bit of this color for the second selection here. Okay. Now I fast forwarded a little bit. I still have my things here. I fast forwarded a little bit because I wanted to be able to walk you through. I didn't want to type and explain at the same time. So I just wanted to walk you through what I've done. So what I've done here is I've created several tables. This one would be for the validation when we select input 1 or input 2. And this one will be for the donuts and the map chart. So let's have a look. So what we have here first is I wanted to bring back all the components of input 1 here. So input 1 here, I have put USA. And in order to do that, I do a filter and I'll check if input 1 is in this column here. And if it is in this column, I bring back the sub-components. I bring back those ones. And then as it's a filter, it's it's dynamic, and it brings me back, sorry, the 10 components. If I put Europe here, then that will bring me back all the components of Europe that I have here as a subgroup. Okay, so that is done. But now what I wanted to do is I wanted to know if the country in or the area in input 2 was part of input 1. Because that will be useful when we do the chart. So in order to do this, I do a filter again. And but in this case, I'll be looking for the one that we have created earlier. And I will put it in this field if it's found. So a filter, doing the same thing, and I put it in this field if found. Now something else that I had to do, and it's just to show you that it's a bit tricky to explain as I type, but I wanted to show, and I'm going to show you actually, I wanted to be able to show the first one to be a consistent color all the time. So in order to do this, I had to click on this and I gave it the color orange. So now I know that on this chart, everything that is first will have the color orange. So in order to do this, I had to do a bit of a gymnastic here. If I'm talking about a country that is not part of input 1, I don't want anything in there. But if it's part of input 1, it's there. So let me demonstrate. So if in input 1 I put something different, let's say I put Europe here. Okay, I put Europe. So what happens now is input 2 is being put on top because I want this one to be always showing in a color. So that's a bit of something that I had to do, and here I will be sorting it based on this. So now this is will be the next step. I'm sorting this by this component here, but descending. So I'm doing a sort here. -1 means descending. So this will always have California at the top here, which is what I want, because the first one will be in orange. So this is done, this is done. And here what I do is this is dummy field. If everything is, if I cannot find anything in there, I put a 1 here. So therefore, if there is nothing here, that will come as that will be hidden. Okay, let's continue. So here, this is a simple XLOOKUP again. So we know how XLOOKUP works. So XLOOKUP, we've done that before. We are looking for that field here, California, into this. And if we have it, we bring back the value from this. So XLOOKUP makes this much easier. We don't have to select everything and go from left to right. There's much more flexibility than VLOOKUP. So, okay. Just to show you that, I'm going to be calculating the percentage later on. Now, the challenge with calculating percentage is if it's part of something, the percentage will be different than if it's not part of something. So I want to know if I deduct the value or not. Otherwise, all the totals will be doubling up. Like here, for instance, so what I'm doing here is I'm selecting the component of this, so which region this is part of. And so California, I'm going here and I'm retrieving USA. So let me demonstrate. It might be easier if I demonstrate. So I go back here. If I select all regions here, now this is USA. I know this is USA, and it has found USA here. So here, because it has found USA, I'm just deducting this value. So I think this is quite clear now. So here for the validation. So validation, I have, for input 1, I have those 3 fields. I've just select those 3 fields. So for input 1, I try to input all other countries, but I think that confuses everything. So I'm just going to keep it simple. So I just, the data validation. And here I'm just selecting those 3. And then for data validation 2, I will allow everything else. So this way that will allow me to have all regions on top comparing with Europe. because if I only put countries, that won't be possible. So here, just let me show you sub-area, all countries with Europe and USA at the top as well. So that's also part of the selection. So here I will be only selecting this value in my list. I can show you if you like. Go here, data validation. Go back here, and I select everything but all regions here. So here maybe I should explain how I've done that as well. So here I am selecting everything from the list here that doesn't have a blank. I do a filter. Let me click in the right one. I have a filter of this, and the selection criteria is that it's not blank. So that doesn't include all regions. This is why I had to put all regions here at the top. So this is it for that. I think all the rest is just a matter of building maps. For instance, so that's very easy. For instance, this one here, it's quite simple. You just select everything this way, and you just do a nasty insert recommended charts, and yep, the first one comes up, it's here. Now the only thing is this one here, it's also quite straightforward. But the only thing that you need to do differently is I wanted to show the trend. So here it's hard to tell the difference of the trend of one compared with the other. So instead, what I had to do is I had to change, let me show you, I just select all these, and I change the type of chart, obviously. So here, obviously, it doesn't work, but what you can do is put that on the other, on the secondary, and here it is. And actually, I can put, if you want to put the, like I've done, the markers. This is done. The map. So here it doesn't work because I just don't have a main area which is driving the map. But if I put something that is recognizable, that's what I was saying at the beginning, all that it's recognizable. So this is what I needed to do. So let's have a look. So now the data for the map is this. No, sorry, it's this. Yes, no, it's this. And here you just do an insert and you put map. And it's beautiful, it comes automatically. So obviously, when you have, let's say I have USA at the top, and here I put Spain, it brings the map only for the main one. Otherwise, it's just, it wouldn't understand. So here I have Spain, it doesn't understand. So he only brings back the USA. So this is done, the maps, this is done. And this is the trick that I was doing, is I just do, go back here. So this is what I needed to insert this, because I wanted to remove if it's part of the subcomponent. But if you just select those two columns here, you do an insert, and this time you go to the pie chart. You go to format data series. You do whatever you want with this. Oops, wrong way. So if I put the whole size smaller, what you need to do, you go under change colors and you put the color that you want to have consistent. Here I think I have them in this direction. Add the table, and here you add whatever you want. Obviously, it would be better if you had the country. So here I'm right-clicking on it, format data label, and here I never know if it's a series name or the category name. Okay, so it doesn't have it here. So I could either add it manually, or so there's two ways here. I could either just do the lazy way that I'm going to do now, just value from cells, and I select this. and that's it. And here, remove the value. The other way was just to click on the series, and make sure that you have the name as part of this. Okay, so here I'm just going to remove what I have at the bottom. So the trick that I was saying is you click on the first one here. Just let me move this out of the way. You click on the first one, so you click twice. You put this one in orange, because you know this will always be your first one. This is always be the one that will be in here. Now, in a scenario where, let's say you have all regions, and here you have Europe. I'll show this, Europe, and USA, the other. So I think this is working quite well. Okay, what else? Now, and this is just this at the top. It's just a matter of bringing back the numbers. So you click on you create a shape. Insert shape. You click on the side of the shape. You can put some, like I've done here, you can put some shadow, but that's really the fine-tuning in the end. You click on the side and you press equal, and then you go and fetch the number that you want from here. So here I had the total for Europe. And remember, you have to go here, Europe, and then this is for the second one. For the input one, you would go there for the 14 million. You go for the 14 million here. So this is a simple percentage calculation. You need to make sure that, as we've done before, so you calculate the percentage of this towards that one. And those charts are within one of those boxes as well. So I'm putting this behind the chart. Magic. So charts are, maps are great, but the challenge with maps is they need to recognize the region. So when they recognize it, it's beautiful. But when they don't, they just show this gaping hole here. So the life according to Microsoft. So here, that's interesting. You have USA vs Europe. So you know it brings you Europe, and after all the USA ones. The charts can be temperamental sometimes. Like this one has a bit of a gap. So there's, I think, because it's when you just play with the mouse sometimes it lacks the enter. So what I do go and change chart tab, and I just press OK. I don't change the chart, I just press OK. So here I have a slight gradient here as a background. I've seen that, in some charts, so just click on it. And here you put as a format, you go here, you have a slight gradient here. So in order to put a gradient, you just choose a color first, and after you go under gradient and you choose it here. I've done the same thing here, I believe. This you would have to play around with you need to make sure that you move those apart, and once you do it once, after you'll get the message, and that's it. Okay, so I think that what I would do personally is I would have this I would have this on one tab. I would put this on another tab. This is the visible part for the users, and all this calculation stuff don't want to freak anyone out, and we don't want them to play around with. So you can put that on the third tab. So this is it. Here, that's just a box as well. I hope I didn't rush that too much. Having said that, it always take a long time, but I just wanted to go quick and and prevent you from having to see me type and try to explain at the same time, which would have taken, I think, a couple of hours. So yeah, so feel free to comment and let me know what you think. Okay, hope you enjoy this.